So when we spend all day sitting, one area that tends to get really problematic is the neck. Now, if I swing myself around like this and I come into a slouch, and this is a very, very typical position that I'll see people in at their computers. Now, we can see that there's a big old slouch in the back for sure, but what's happening at my neck? Well, what should be happening at my neck is that I've got an inward curve, a lordosis, at the bottom of the neck, and on the top of the neck, I should have to have a little bit of an outward curve, a little kyphosis, so that my eyes can point forwards. But what happens when I'm like this is exactly the opposite. So I have a bit of a kyphosis at the bottom of my neck because everything just slumps forwards. And then in order to be able to see straight ahead, I have to lift the back of my head up. So I get a lordosis at the top. So the natural curves of the neck are reversed when you go into that sort of turtleneck position. And what happens is the suboccipital muscles just under the base of the spine, just under the base of the skull, they tend to tighten up and shorten, and then it makes it very hard to come back to here when you've got all this short and tightness up there, because it just can't expand and let you come back out again. So what we're going to do now is to release the suboccipital muscles with the tennis ball, and then retrain or activate the deep neck flexors in the front of the neck, so that we can restore that nice healthy curve and get rid of that turtleneck, which is just not very sexy, but it's also not very healthy, and it can cause problems in the discs and joints of the neck. So, tennis ball. What you're going to do with the ball is, if you feel down the back of your skull, you'll feel that in the centre there is a divot just underneath the skull at the back of the neck, and we're going to start with there. And then if you walk your fingers across to the right, you'll feel there's a long, solid, big muscle on the right hand side, and the same on the left. So those are the three areas that we're going to be putting the tennis ball to release it. Okie doke. So it's middle, then right, then left is the way I'm going to do it. So let's go. I'm going to lie down, get rid of the pillow, and I'm going to keep the ball in my hand. What I've discovered is that necks are the perfect shape. So if I let go of the ball, I will just end up like this with my head back, and I can't feel the ball at all. Whereas if I keep the ball in my hand, I can manipulate the ball and move it under my neck. So I'm going to start off holding the ball is in the palm of my hand, and I've got the ball just underneath the base of my skull in the middle. So, don't know how well you can see that, but it's right there, tucked in. And then what I can do, if I want to get a bit more traction in it, I can turn my hand this way, and then that just twists the ball a little bit underneath the base of my skull, so that I can get a little bit of traction and a little bit more tension through it, so I can get a little bit more feedback from the muscle. Then I'm going to breathe and just let that go. So I'm tractioning, tensioning, releasing all that whole suboccipital area, and I'm pushing it into that nice kyphosis, that stretched out position that it wants to be in, rather than that lordosis there. So effectively I'm pushing my chin down to my chest using the tennis ball. Good. And then I'm going to come under the tight muscle on the right hand side. And again, I'm just holding it in place, breathing in, and letting the ball do its thing. I'm always tight on this side. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to bring the ball over to the left, so I'll take it in my left hand. And again, just to show you, so when I want to increase the tension, I just twist my hand so the ball goes from being here to being here, and that just adds that little bit of extra je ne sais quoi underneath the base of my skull. So I've got it here, and then just twist it slightly, increase the stretch for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. So I have stretched off the suboccipital muscles at the base of my skull, and I'm going to put my tennis ball down somewhere and leave it there for the moment. So now I'm going to try and retrain the deep neck flexors at the base of at the front of my neck, and their job is to hold that slight kyphosis at the top of the neck. So they're there to sort of help me nod.
So what I'm going to do is keep my knees bent like this. I'm going to flatten my low back into the bed, so there's a little bit of a pelvic tilt coming in here. And then I'm going to do the same at the neck. So if you watch where the top of my head is with the pillow, I'm going to push the pillow up and away from me slightly, basically by sliding the back of my, trying to flatten the back of my neck into the bed, and my chin will come down and the top of my head will go up that way. So as I do that, I can feel that I'm working these muscles right in the front of my throat there. I'm going to get my tongue up behind my front teeth, and I'm going to keep my jaw relaxed, and I'm just going to breathe as I do that. And mine has got tight enough that I can feel when I do this a stretch down behind my shoulder blades, which suggests to me that there's some tension there. Good. Let that relax and go off, and then we're going to do the same again, but I'm just going to add in a little bit more work. So again, flatten the low back, flatten the neck, bring the chin down, and then I'm just going to place my hand on my forehead and just basically provide myself some resistance. So I'm going to try and nod my head into my hand, and I can feel my neck muscles working harder when I do that. Just a little bit. This is not a power exercise, it's just giving it a little bit of resistance, and then relax and shake it out. And then one more the same, flatten the low back, flatten the neck, and just provide a little bit of resistance. So I'm effectively stopping me from lifting my head up, so I wouldn't be going that high. And hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. So we've just released the suboccipital muscles at the base of the skull, and then we've just activated the deep neck flexors at the front, and that combination just gives us a more balanced and healthier curves in the neck.